Get to subscribe. Um, my kids are hungry and I need to feed them, so any help would be thankful, appreciated. Anyhow, today's subject is the similarities between the Bears coach, yuck, Matt Eberflus, and the White Sox manager, ew, Pedro Grifol. I did a little searching, and for one thing, they are both 53 years old. I believe Grifol was born in 36, Jesus, was born the year before Eberflus, but right now supposedly they're the same age. This is the first time either one of them have been a head coach in a major league, like the NFL, Major League Baseball. Matt Eberflus has never been a head coach on any level. Yes, he has played high school and college football. Yes, he's been a defensive coordinator and a defensive coach. No doubt about it. He's got experiencing coaching defense, but not managing a whole group of men. And pretty much the same can be said for Pedro Grifol. Pedro Grifol did have two stints as a Class A, which are the youngest of the youngest baseball players. A lot of that is just making sure they get on the bus and maybe teaching them a little bit about the basics and, how to be a baseball player. But the difference between Class A players and the Major League, that's night and day. That's like teaching kindergarten versus, teaching grad school. I mean, it's a huge difference, obviously. Kindergarten, you're babysitting. Well, you're babysitting, in the major leagues as well, in the NFL, but it's a different kind of babysitting. As far as success, Pedro Grifol is winning at a .382 winning percentage. That averages out over to 62 wins in a season. And in this case, that's about where they're headed, which would mean that the White Sox will eventually probably get 100 losses. Boy, that's not easy to do. I mean, teams do it, but, it doesn't happen all the time. And for a team with this kind of talent, there's a lot of talent. There was talent on this team at the beginning of the year. And this guy just, mismanaged it. I wish Eberflus was running at a .382 winning percentage because that would mean that he's going to win about 6.5 games. No, Matty's at 15%. That's 2.5 wins a season. Now, we won 3 last year. Right now we have 0. And boy, we could end up winning 0. It's pretty abysmal, especially considering in the history of the Bears. I think the next closest, lowest percentage was the Jolly, God, what was his name? He was a Bears defensive coordinator. It'll come to me eventually. In fact, I'm going to look it up, but he was a terrible head coach. I don't even know if he was a good defensive coordinator. God, I had it yesterday, and I can't remember it today. I remember he used to sing, as he was walking out on the field. But he was terrible. And he was 286. I mean, that is just so much, better than what Eberflus is in. So as of right now, Eberflus is the worst coach in Bears history by far. And yeah, that can change. There's no doubt about it. Abe Gibran. Oh my God, Abe Gibran was 11-30. And I think it, and maybe one tie, whatever. He was terrible. And we've had some terrible coaches. I mean, really, the Bears, they've had 2 good coaches. Hallis, and at the end, George was terrible. Ditka, who wasn't a great coach, but he was as successful as it gets. You could all say that Lovey was a great coach. He sucked, okay? Lovey Smith was successful because he had Hall of Famers. He had Pro Bowlers on defense. He had good offense, not great offense. He never hired a good offensive coordinator, or maybe we would have won the Super Bowl in '06. But he never, he had guys like Mike Tice and I think Mike Martz, who was at the end, having guys do 7-step drops. Martz might have been later on. He might have been with Fox, but just throughout the years, the Bears have had crappy offensive coordinators. But let's get back. That's what happens when you don't pay attention. Obviously, my phone just fell down to the ground, so. No. So my phone fell on the ground because I'm the most unprofessional SOB on the planet. But anyways, back to the two guys at hand. From what I see, there's no leadership with either guy. There's no players taking control. There's no, hey, look, I need you to keep these guys in line and get them going. There's nothing. The players don't seem to have any kind of leadership at all. No direction. From both teams. They're both underachieving. The White Sox should be a playoff team. There's playoff talent, but they're not. They're not. Too many injuries because they don't have trainers that stretch them out, that don't have a stretching program in the off season. I don't know about the Bears. Every NFL team, every baseball team has injuries, but the Bears are a better roster than last year by far, and they're playing 10 times worse. It's hard to do. They play veterans instead of the kids. Grifol's got Trace Thompson playing almost every day. For love of God, I love Trace Thompson, okay? He's probably the best basketball player on the team. But this is a time to find out what the Oscar Colas, get him back up here and let him get some more at-bats. It's not doing him any good playing in the minors. He's already succeeded there. Let him play. Trace Thompson getting at-bats means nothing. And the Bears are doing the same thing too. Yeah, they're working in the young kids, but you're not winning this year. Start them. These veterans you brought in stink. There isn't a guy in the defensive line that would start for any other team except maybe Ngakwe or whatever his name is. And he's just average. They're both horrible coaches. And it's something else that I wanted to bring up. What the White Sox and Bears both do is they normally hire management who then hire coaches that can be pushed around by ownership, that can be told what to do with ownership. Neither one of these guys is good at their job. It's probably not their fault. They shouldn't be in this position. You don't have to be a great coordinator to be a great head coach. Mike Ditka was not anything but a special teams guy, yet he was a good leader. Okay? He had Buddy Ryan to run his defense. The Bears may not have won the Super Bowl without Buddy Ryan. I know they had the best defense ever, but the next year, Buddy Ryan left to coach the Eagles. Same defense, and they were good, but they weren't as good as in 85 and in 84. Some say 84 they were even better. They both look like they're completely lost. Grifol just doesn't know how to manage, doesn't know how to... He keeps throwing the same pitchers out there, like Aaron Bummer, in the same situations. We're up 4-3. Well, Bummer comes in, the game is guaranteed to be a loss, and it usually is. They hire bad coaches. I know that Grifol didn't hire Ethan Katz, but with Ethan Katz, our pitchers walk everybody. Got guys like Dylan Cease and Kopech and even Giolito that have great stuff, but they walk too many people. Everybody on the team walks too many people. There's a pitching coach there. Everybody runs on us because we don't give a damn about keeping a guy close at first base. That's a pitching coach's job to fix that. And that's the pitching coach's direction, that they walk the world. So I didn't want this to be 5 hours. I'm already at 9 minutes. Nothing changes for the Bears of the White Sox until they bring in good leaders. Guys that can coach, manage. Guys that get the players' respect immediately. Guys that have a system that's going to work. That's a proven system. Or at least can coach or manage the guys and make them the best players they can be. A good head coach would have had a great, experienced offensive coordinator that can help Justin Fields become the quarterback that I know he can be. A good manager would have a good pitching coach that would make Dylan Cease the guy that he was last year, where he was headed to. We'd should still have Giolito. It's very frustrating being a fan of both teams and watching the train wreck that's going on, knowing that it's never going to get better until we have good leadership above the managers. Maybe Ryan Poles is that guy. Maybe he made a mistake with Eberflus. Hopefully he learns from that mistake. But I believe that he was told, here's a certain amount of money that you can pay a head coach. What's he going to do with it? So he finds the best guy for the best price, and that's Eberflus. And, I'm sure Eberflus, another thing the McCaskies love is a guy that'll go to church with them. And there's nothing wrong with that. Church is a great, if you're into religion, God bless you. But that should be a reason to hire a coach. I don't care what religion the man is. I don't care if he is an atheist. If he can coach my football team to win more games than they lose. Be competitive. We got the worst football team in football. We have one of the worst baseball teams in baseball. Anyhow, that's what I have to say about that. I hope you enjoyed it. Remember to subscribe so I can feed my poor, hungry kids. I'm okay. I'll survive. I could use the diet anyways. So next thing will probably be about, maybe some type of, it'll be about fantasy tonight. I'll do something later. So have a great day. Take care. We'll see you later.